Hello and welcome to the bonus room. I'm Lewis.
And I'm Holly.
And today I want to talk about the social contract because I am in the camp that I feel like the social contract between governments all over the world and their citizens has been broken.
Why don't you define social contract?
Well, the social contract basically, just in a nutshell, is the government is going to have the people's best interests at heart. Whenever they pass a law, have an executive order, it's going to be done with the people or the citizens of that country with their best interests. So now we've got governments all over the world who are beholden to corporations they buy elections. And you've got situations in Italy where the prime minister hasn't even been elected. He was appointed by the banks, the big banks, the corporations. It's just gotten way out of hand. You got Greece, the Greek people, almost 62% of the Greek people said, we don't want a bailout, we don't want concessions from the European Union, we want to go it alone. We want to be Greek people. 2 days later, it was a done deal. The government of Greece went against what the people said. And I even read an article that somebody in the European Union said there's no sense for people to have elections anymore because they know they control everything. So the social contract has been broken with governments and people. But I want to extend that social contract to corporations. They're the ones that are screwing everything up. And let's even say that you've got a small corporation, not even a huge corporation that buys politicians. Let's take a small corporation, a mom and pop, or not even mom and pop. Let's say they've got 100 employees, and CEO is a man or a woman who, is an aggressive personality, and they're out doing the things that they need to do to fulfill themselves. Well, what if this person is cheating on their spouse? So we've got a person who's in a position who has 100 people underneath him or her who are looking to him or her for a good amount of guidance in their life, because you think about it, you spend a third of your life at work basically, and a third of your life beholden to this person almost. If this person's spouse can't trust them, why should all these employees trust this person to have their best interests at heart? And I know that I tend to see things very black and white, but it's an honest question, and it should be questioned, I think.
It's power. It's all about power.
Yeah.
Because that person perceives power over all the people, and all those people perceive that person has power over them.
And that gets back to the cosmological constant from Einstein. You've got energy acting both ways. So you've got some people forcing things on others, and then you've got the people that are accepting of that energy. So yeah, it goes back. What we've been building on all of these discussions. But go ahead.
Well, no. To me, that's the bottom line, and somebody who has power and abuses it is, to me, part of all the evil that's going on in the world. Whether you're abusing your power over 100 people or 100,000 people or 100 million people, abuse of power destroys that social contract. And we trust you to do things. We trust our government to do things for the greater good, and you can boil that government, any kind of leadership, down to, a police department in a small town that the sheriff's got a lot of power. There's been songs written about it, and this has gone on forever. So I think...
So how can we, as a people, as the 99%, how can we change that? In my mind, it's kind of a grassroots. It's us, it's you. Stop buying corporations crap, because it's just crap. We don't need it. You don't need all these gadgets to have successful relationships in your life. Oh, we're gonna have it for work. Yeah, there you go back to the, who's exerting influence on who when you have to fully be always connected with your cell phone or your smartphone. And I lost my train of thought.
Don't buy all the corporations.
Yeah, just buy local. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Buy local. Go to the farmer's market. We need to do that more often. We need to grow our own.
And
in the
don't,
garden.
when you say don't buy their crap, that also means don't believe what they tell you all the time.
Yeah.
Do research. Read something. Go out and read something. And I really don't care if it's a magazine article or a newspaper article, but go read something and educate yourself about a corporation you're buying something from.
Yeah.
Then we could be better at it.
Yeah. And even the government. I mean, the food pyramid, I'm convinced the food pyramid is built in such a way to convince American citizens to buy the goods that the government subsidizes from the farmers, the wheat and the grains and that stuff, it'll kill you. Well, it won't kill you, but it takes a lot for your body to process it.
Right.
So, it's just, they're influencing our behaviors. They're manipulating our behaviors. And I think we need to be freer, all of us. And I think to do that, we need to be freer thinkers. We need to question everything.
I think there's a lot of people in our society today that do question. They just don't speak up because they don't think anyone else questions.
Yeah.
They think, well, no, everybody else is buying an iPhone, and I'm going to buy an iPhone too. Instead of questioning, well, why did you buy that iPhone?
Yeah. I mean, you talk about an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy or whatever. I read an article the other day that said, and I get my media from not the mainstream. I will go out and seek it out, and I'll call bull stuff on their writings too. But I read something that I have not verified, but 90% of the content that you see, whether it's on televisions, on your phones, whatever that's being delivered to you, 90% of that content is controlled by 6 corporations. And I'm not going to name them because we might have personal relationships with some of them. But just let that sink in and let that, just think about it. And okay, I don't need to blindly follow XYZ. Let me think about it and take that step back and have a little depth of thought, not just the two-dimensional image that you see of,
Avoid the
whomever.
herd mentality.
Exactly.
Think for yourself.
Yeah.
Just think for yourself.
And I read something. I'm glad you mentioned herd because I read something the other day that in the wild the outliers, the ones that weren't part of the herd, were the ones that got hunted and killed. So that's in nature. It's like you have to, and if you want to survive, you got to be in the middle of the herd. Well, I just don't think that works. I mean, yeah, you can survive to be an old wildebeest or whatever, with gray whiskers coming out of your face, but is it a fulfilled life?
Yeah, it's not really fun.
Is it? I mean, you gotta be personally fulfilled, and you can't be personally fulfilled if you're trying to be like everybody else. What's the commercial with Michael Jordan? You gotta be like Mike. No, you don't. And no, you can't. I mean.
And you and I have never been middle of the road
yeah,
folks. Not
we've
any point in
never.
our lives have we been down the middle of the road. We've always been the outliers. It's amazing we're still.
I think that's why we work so well together and we have so few friends, is because we march to our own drum, the beat of our own drum, and it's wonderful. It's good stuff.
It's good to think for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. All right, well, thanks again for joining us, and please join us again next time in the bonus room. I'm Lewis.
And I'm Holly. Let's keep talking.